What do you want to do?
I don't know. We don't have an intro.
Welcome to the Glazier Gamble podcast with Michael Glazier and Joe Ribble. We have a good amount of topics to talk to you about today. All right. We got some good Marvel stuff where we're going to let you know our reaction to Moon Knight episode 2. There is one DC topic I didn't write down that I would like to mention with Ezra Miller if we got time. We got some Daredevil, Kingpin, Echo stuff, Spider-Man 4 potentially, Ghost Rider, Multiverse of Madness, all that good stuff. Let's start though with one of the topics that gained some wave. It actually got me a lot of random retweets on Twitter for my reaction to it. Sydney Sweeney.
She's the popular one. She's the popular one right now.
Yep. Yeah, she is. Mainly because of Euphoria. She is going to be in Madam Web. We know that. We talked about that before in a previous episode. Check it out here, wherever it's going to pop up. Check it out. We don't know what she's going to play yet. However, she was just being interviewed about it, and she said she bought a bunch of comic books and has been reading them, which I thought was awesome because she wants to learn more about the character, and she said she likes it. She said, "I've always been a big fan of the Marvel movies and the Sony movies." My reaction was a gif from Parks and Recreation of Ron Swanson that they put a little hat on him and forced a smile on his face, and I said that was Sony making her say the last part, saying has to say she likes Sony movies.
Yeah, if they wanted to fool us, they would have been like, "Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the MCU and the SUMC," or something like that, or the Sony universe of Marvel characters.
I'm a fan of the potential of this universe building with Sony and Marvel, like something,
or to really wrap us up, to be like, I'm a huge fan of the potential world building until I saw Morbius. And then I was like, what the fuck am I getting into?
If, huge marketing chance here. Or, to really attach with the fans. I'm really excited to the potential to work with either Andrew or Tom. That would have been awesome. Obviously, she's not allowed to say certain things. That thing might not have been okay, but anything would have been better or more believable than I love the Sony movies.
Yeah. Do you?
You loved Venom?
Name 2.
Venom 2. Morbius?
Name 2.
Name 2 that aren't part of the MCU.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
She's doing a great job of supporting the companies that hired her, but she doesn't need to lie. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. On the same topic, since we're on it, Sony, I saw another review. Except this time, because last week I talked about how I think a big part of the Morbius problem is it's probably not a 17% bad. It's probably closer to like 40%, something like that. Like, if we're all being realistic and not sheep that just listen to everybody else hating it. I think a big part of it is people don't like Jared Leto. I saw another review, except this one was titled "Jared Leto's terrible, annoying acting style portrayed again." And I was like, how is that a professional title? How can you put that as your title and being like, people are going to think I'm unbiased?
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to have a problem with is that post-credit scene, probably.
Absolutely.
Other than that, like, you got to think Venom's the best movie they've done. Like, the first Venom. Mm-hmm. And it was 30%.
I liked it better than that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think it's the best movie.
Actually.
Yeah, the fan reaction on all of them has been significantly better, but it was better than Let There Be Carnage, even though Carnage looked badass. But
hot take, probably because they're PG-13.
Yeah, if you said Venom Let There Be Carnage was R, they could have done so much more with it. And then you add, like, that's so weird because we always say, like, with the Disney shows, we're always like, we want more, and then in like some of the movies, we're like, you could probably do a little bit less or something like that. The Eternals is like, could have been less.
30 minutes shorter would have been fine. Sex scene was totally unnecessary.
Yeah, but Venom Let There Be Carnage, it was like, can we get 30 more minutes? Like, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. Can we get it? Can we push it to like the almost 2 hour range? Like
that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Can we get that? No? Okay.
I don't know. Here's the thing. They had John Watts do the Venom 2 post-credit scene to get Venom into the universe. Like, they did all that. They got that. Then they shipped him right back out. And then they just, like, rumors came out that Sony had no coordination with Marvel on
They didn't consult with Kevin Feige once
for this one. And so a lot of people are saying Kevin Feige should just put Adrian Toomes in another movie, like in the MCU, and be like, this is The only thing I can say is that this Morbius one, I barely nicked it. Too, just made like a little sound. The only thing I'm hoping is that it is a Adrian Toomes from another universe, not the MCU.
Right. And
that everything has happened the exact same in another universe. This time, Adrian Toomes hates Spider-Man.
The suit doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because it was developed by alien technology. How would he have it?
Yeah. By the Chitaurian whatever.
Right.
The only thing, I've said that, I talked to you about this, talked about this last week, is if it was that Vulture suit from Amazing Spider-Man 2 post-credit scene. And it was different Adrian Toomes. I don't know. Why didn't you just do that?
I've heard that there's the first scene where Jared Leto becomes his vampire self. Apparently he murders a lot of people. He kills a lot of bad guys.
Yeah, like a bunch of mercenaries or something.
And apparently the sound effects are brutal, but you don't see a single one actually killed. Don't you think if you made it rated R and showed that happening, especially with such a poor turnout already, it's not like
I think I've heard like there's no blood either.
Right, you don't see blood. That's the thing. Is they're making blood splatter sound effects without any blood visuals. So he murders a whole bunch of people, but it's just insinuated he's murdering people.
It's like when you're watching 300 and like someone gets like their throat sliced and the blood splatters and then it just disappears.
Right, there's no blood on the ground anywhere.
Yeah, Sony can do better.
Hopefully Sydney Sweeney makes it better.
Yeah, I'm hoping Black Cat. I don't know. I'm getting Black Cat vibes, but I don't know why Black Cat would work for Madam Web. That seems like a petty thief and then like a Doctor Strange level goddess type.
That's
thing.
the fun thing about Sydney Sweeney being cast is she could be multiple things.
Yeah.
So
Black Cat, Silver Sable.
Yeah, it's not most people think she'll be Silver
I don't
Sable.
know. Yeah.
Most people think she'll be Silver Sable. We have two other topics we could easily transition to from here. We mentioned Kevin Feige. We also mentioned PG-13 versus R. So we're gonna talk about the ratings here. Miss Marvel, very passionate topic about that. We've talked about it a lot. We've defended it a lot. Talked about the win it had last week. Last week on the episode, we talked about how Obi-Wan Kenobi will no longer be taking away the spotlight on its premiere day.
Yeah.
Because that was delayed 2 days to happen on Friday. So now everybody can just watch Miss Marvel and not worry about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I think that was a good choice going forward for Disney so that they can release Star Wars products on Fridays and keep Marvel ones to Wednesdays. I think that's just a smart choice.
Well, Miss Marvel's setting a record. The first MCU product to receive a PG rating. Not PG-13. Not R. No. Not G. PG. So, which means, I was talking about this with my wife. My daughter is 1. Okay? That means I could sit in front of the TV and watch it with my 1-year-old daughter. I understand it. She's supposed to be like a young girl. And
I guess I don't really have too much. Like, it's not shocking to me, but it also isn't like disappointing because we knew they were gonna tailor this to a specific audience. They knew this was their to try to bring in the younger audience, young female, stuff like that. I get that. I also don't think Kamal's gonna go around caving in people's heads, so that also makes sense.
Or swearing.
Yeah, I mean, she should. I mean, just much like Spider-Man did at the end of Far From Home, where he's like, "What the like?"
Yeah.
I think you could get some of that. You could get some of that, where she's like, "Holy shit!" And then like a bus goes by and it's like, like,
sure.
Yeah.
That probably makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, and
that's what I can say.
She's Middle Eastern. She's from the Middle East. At her home life, her home culture. She's
Indian American.
She's Indian American, so she's probably, and like in her home scenes, if they're being accurate, she'll probably have to be a little bit more reserved.
Yeah.
Which means probably more PG versus PG-13, that just makes sense. Yeah, I think the silver lining to this news, because my original thought was kind of like an eye roll. I'm not necessarily disappointed that it's PG. I'm more disappointed than encouraged by it. My silver lining when I did actually sit down, cool off, because I kind of overreact to every Miss Marvel news now because I've been so upset about all the decisions. When I actually had time to sit and think, the silver lining is we're getting R-rated products.
Yeah.
We're getting appropriate ratings. In the future, we're going to be getting R-rated Punisher, most likely. R-rated
TV mature.
Deadpool 3. So things are going to make sense.
Yeah.
So Miss Marvel being a young girl she doesn't need to swear. She doesn't need to. And when she embiggens, she doesn't have to crush people, and you don't have to see them get flattened.
Yeah,
you don't have to see that. So it's fine that she's PG. It's just them being accurate. I just want to complain about it because I'm so upset about everything else they've done.
Sure,
that's
sure.
it.
I think there's a lot of projects in the future, and just straight out of like
Compton.
Straight out of Compton, out of the new like Doctor Strange TV spot. We see Billy and Tommy Maximoff. You could definitely just have a possible show with just Billy and Tommy, you know, and then that probably would be PG. But
Instead
then when you eventually
Cloak and Dagger, Wiccan and Speed.
Yeah, exactly. So you could get possibly a Young Avengers thing. Do I think the Young Avengers would be PG? No. I think you'd kind of have to make it PG-13. Like,
so imagine that being R.
You poop head.
You poop head. Just rip someone in half. Nightcrawler. We get a young Nightcrawler that teleports with someone's head.
Yeah, just bamps someone. Yeah. No, I'm okay. I'm okay with the PG ratings. It's just we're going to be very critical on that show. Probably the most critical we've been on any franchise going forward.
I'm going in positive, but I'm going in very critical. I'm gonna. They've made too many poor decisions so far for me to go in and be like, all right. Like, in my opinion, all the decisions you've made, it's like, you think you know what you're making, you know these decisions are good. Well, they better be perfect because you're kind of destroying the origins of this
character. Yeah, it's a new character, so it's not like, is this the first new character? No, Moon Knight. I mean, Moon Knight they've done. So yeah, I don't know. Like you could throw Daredevil in something, and I'll be like, all right, I know exactly what you're gonna do. Like I know exactly what Daredevil's gonna be, how he's gonna act. Like you've got someone who's been doing it for 5 years. So yeah.
And I trust when it's so they change a lot of directors, writers, producers. Like those tend to be new faces a lot of the time. Speaking of which, the director of Turning Red just got promoted within Disney to a higher corporate position. So congratulations. But I trust when it comes to higher than that, when it comes all the way up to like Kevin Feige, I trust the decisions.
Sure.
Disney does too, because Multiverse of Madness is the first movie that is going to be titled a Kevin Feige production.
Yeah, he has been hands-on, to say the least. This movie is so critical to the future of the MCU that he has to be, every little detail has to be perfect for it to make
they
sense.
said that Multiverse of Madness and Moon Knight, Kevin Feige has had input on basically every scene.
Yeah.
That both of those products have kind of been his baby.
Yeah.
So this is probably his turning point. This is probably he either views this as his climax, like this is where he wants to peak. These are the products he wants to do best on. That sort of thing. Obviously, every person in his level of success and position wants to succeed and improve at everything.
Right.
But this is the most involved he's been on anything in the past.
Sure.
And it's fun. I think his direction, his journey has been amazing. Like go
Spider-Man
watch
2 with Tobey.
All right, go watch Spider-Man 2 or the first X-Men. Yeah. And you see his name pop up.
Yeah.
And he's not like he's not director, he's not executive producer. So like, oh, co-producer, like that. So it's like he's one of those guys that he's worked his way up. He's done the right things. He said the right things. He's proven he's educated. He's proven he makes good decisions. He made friends with the right people like Jon Favreau. He's just, he's done a lot of good things, and it's proven that this Disney, part of the success of Disney and Marvel, luck is, you can view it however you want it. But if 20 years ago or 30, at this point, it's like 30 years ago, basically, if DC hired Kevin Feige, a young Kevin Feige, to work for them instead,
right?
DC is most likely in a position of power over Marvel right now.
100%.
Kevin Feige is that big of a difference. So when I saw this,
the fact that you said that he's built relationships with the right people. He's got Jon Favreau. He's made a connection with James Gunn,
that's
the Russo
other guy
brothers.
I want to talk about. Yeah.
The Russo brothers, Ryan Coogler, like all these guys that are so like instrumental in the fact, like help build. I barely hit that. I like grazed it. Whatever. But yeah, they're all instrumental in the success that Marvel's done.
So there are two people that I think are within Marvel right now that could eventually make more connections to DC. One of them already does, that I think Marvel, is similar to Kevin Feige, could eventually see them getting much higher positions within the company. One of them, unfortunately, was not brought back to their position that they were already at. But James Gunn, we already mentioned him. I think at one point you're going to see executive producer, director, James Gunn, like production supervisor, James. Like you're going to see.
Sure.
I think James Gunn is going to make the rounds. Or, like I mentioned, he's going to be DC's Kevin Feige.
Sure.
If he has the potential to be this.
Yeah, the fact that for Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad,
Yep.
Warner Brothers was like, oh, just recast Deadshot. Just recast Will Smith Deadshot. Idris Elba, get Idris Elba. They got Idris Elba, and they're like, just make him Deadshot. Like, it's fine, just recast. And James Gunn was like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Stupid as hell.
That's stupid as hell. He's like, yeah, I'll get some of the people. I'll get Rick Flag back, Amanda Waller, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, right? And then I'll add all these new faces. So why would I need to get Deadshot in there? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
And it's Suicide Squad, so I'm gonna kill some people.
Yeah, they kill a lot of people.
Yeah. I think he could be DC's. If DC and Warner Brothers are smart, you give him the reins. Not only that's the issue with Warner Brothers and DC right now, in my opinion, is the higher ups believe they deserve all the power. Marvel, the reason they're so successful is they gave guys like Jon Favreau and Kevin Feige the power. The people, they're fine having a higher salary than these guys, but they're fine with them making all the decisions. Like, you have 100% of the decision. If DC and Warner Brothers gave that ability to James Gunn and said, we'll pay you whatever, just don't work for Disney anymore.
Yeah. I think Warner Brothers just dropped the ball. They've gotten 3 people. And they still have a good relationship with James Gunn, and another name I'm going to throw out is Matt Reeves.
I'm going to say Matt Reeves.
And then Zack Snyder. Like, they've kind of burned that bridge, but like, those are 3 people that can build separate universes for you that I would be confident in as a fan watching Warner Brothers. Like,
James Gunn can be your Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves can be your Jon Favreau. Yeah. Zack Snyder can be
your Russo brothers.
Your Russo brothers. Yep. Yeah. There you go. The other name, though, besides James Gunn, that I did want to throw out quickly or whatever, Kate Herron. She made one of the greatest streaming shows currently, in my opinion. I liked
Disney Plus's best streaming show.
Right.
Loki.
I liked Loki better than WandaVision. I know a lot of people liked WandaVision, but it was just received well by fans.
I feel like, they liked WandaVision because it was the first project we had in 2 years. So So
but I thought Kate Herron killed it. Yeah. I think Kate Herron is somebody that, because Marvel's not bringing her back for Loki season 2. She will not be. It's the director of Moon Knight is doing Loki season 2, I believe, right?
Right. Yeah, I think so.
I think if DC Warner Brothers, if you're smart, snatch her up. She did a tremendous job. So many theories and fan guesses happened during Loki. Almost all of them were wrong. Yeah. And Kate Herron had a huge part in all of that. But they weren't bad. Like, the fans were wrong, but they weren't upset about what happened because it was still a good decision.
I don't know if Matt Reeves is actually going to do the Penguin spinoff, but if you want someone to build a story like in a TV series, Kate Herron would be one of the top names on my list to do a Colin Farrell Penguin 100%. Series.
Also, she killed it with Sylvie. If you want to take like a feminist standpoint, however, if you want a woman's standpoint, she could probably do a pretty badass Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
She could probably build a good universe around Poison Ivy as well.
Yeah.
Just saying. I think if DC, Warner Brothers, we know you guys are listening. You've stolen our ideas. Or us. Kate Herron is another one of those people that could be snatched up. So Kevin Feige production will be Multiverse of Madness. That's where this all started. I think there's a couple other people that deserve shout outs. A lot of other people. But if I'm DC or Warner Brothers, offer the whole truckload at James Gunn and Kate Herron and
back
say,
up the Brinks trucks.
Yep, just don't work for Marvel anymore. That would be like the stipulation. Like, please don't work for Marvel anymore. We'll give you complete reign to work together, hire your own directors, hire your own producers, do that. You two are just doing it all. I guarantee they could turn DC around. Yeah. So could we and a lot of fans. It's just right now the higher ups are unwilling to do.
We could turn Sony around. We could turn Warner Brothers around. We could turn Miss Marvel around. We could do a lot of things.
I agree. I'm all for it. And congratulations, Kevin Feige might be the person that has earned that the most in my eyes in Hollywood. Jordan Peele is on his way to being that way as well, in my opinion. The other thing was James Marsden. So they're bringing in Wiccan and Speed. You know, it's Billy and Tommy, and
Billy and Tommy
means
they got to grow up a little bit.
We've already heard it's most likely going to confirm the existence of mutants.
Right. Well, yeah, Professor X is there, so.
Right. So.
Or some other bald guy in a wheelchair. Who knows? It could be.
Well, we confirmed. Patrick Stewart confirmed it was him. So they've been trying to get in contact with some of the older X-Men actors. I've been told that.
I think I saw they talked to Halle Berry.
They talked to Halle Berry. They talked to James Marsden, but they have not received. Not everybody has been able to get in contact with Hugh Jackman.
James McAvoy said, "I'm not in this."
He just straight up. Yeah.
No.
Michael Fassbender has not been able to get reached. But anyway, one person that they have had multiple interviews with is James Marsden.
Rightfully so. He's got Sonic movie just came out, so
he has stuff to talk about, so it's not like he can say no.
Right.
During those interviews, they asked about Multiverse of Madness. He said, "I'm not in it. Would it be cool if I was in it? Absolutely. Would I want to come back as Cyclops?" He said his first time, he said he was not really sure. But then he said if he came back as Cyclops, he would love to see it being the version of Cyclops as the leader of the X-Men.
Right.
Which, I don't know how many weeks ago it was.
Yeah, we've said that too.
We talked about how if they bring him in the X-Men, we would like Cyclops to be the leader. We want it to be the Cyclops leader, not the Professor X leader. We want it to be the X-Men that go out and they save the world every day, like that. Like they make big differences, being led by their more of a military style leader of Cyclops.
Yeah.
Which
and then
James
eventually you get eventually you have the part where like the actual Age of Apocalypse, like where that actually like not the Oscar Isaac version, like bless his heart, but where like Wolverine and Cyclops fight, and Wolverine like pokes his eye. And then Cyclops blasts Wolverine's arm off, and it doesn't grow back. So like that, I don't think they'd ever do that because you just ruin the character, or like change the character. But like,
I'd
pay to see that. That'd be sweet.
If that's your last one, if that's the last movie of the series, then yeah.
So
if you don't plan on ever bringing those characters back, or only want to bring them back as like talking roles, not action roles, that would make sense. I'm all for James Marsden coming back. We've talked about it in a couple episodes. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's got the look. He's got that look.
He looks like my dad in high school.
Much like we talked about, like Henry Cavill, like has that look. He could play a Cyclops too.
And that's the thing is, if they decide to bring Cyclops in, because people have talked about they want the X-Men to be young. They want like Wolverine to be somebody like a Taron Egerton. They want him to be like the young guys. They don't want the older X-Men.
I think they should be like they should look 30. Like I don't think they should be like.
But if Cyclops is your leader, it doesn't matter if he's like the slightly older actor of James Marsden versus a Taron Egerton. You can have that age difference because he's supposed to be the leader. I think with him getting all this, like I've said before, no interviews, no information is ever released by accident. It's always on purpose. Somebody wants it out there. I think with all this stuff happening, there's a chance we get James Marsden as coming back in some manner.
Sure.
I would love if it's as leader Cyclops.
Yeah.
Because leader Cyclops also leads toward potentially blue and yellow uniforms that are super pretty. And I love those old uniforms. That's what I want. I don't want the black uniform. I want the blue and yellow.
Yeah.
Wolverine has like his bright colors.
Yeah, Rogue has green and yellow. Rogue's green and yellow with the bright like red orange hair type thing. Like she's got brunette hair or something.
Storm is like black and white.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That would just. And also that was confirmed. They do plan on bringing Storm. The woman who played Storm in like X-Men Apocalypse will not be returning.
Yeah. No, they want Storm because Storm has a lot of background with T'Challa and like Wakanda.
Well, originally that actress tweeted out, "Y'all think they're really gonna be? Y'all acting like they're gonna be replacing me?" After Disney purchased Fox, and then a couple weeks ago she tweeted out that she was very excited for whoever they choose to do next.
Yeah, she was not like when I think of X-Men, I do not think of that Aurora Monroe at all. So
Aurora.
Very forgettable, and I don't mean to be rude, but it was
It was
so
forgettable. That's a good word.
Yeah. It was Evan Peters' film, or it was Sophie Turner's film, or it was
James McAvoy's.
yeah,
Fassbender. The first one, the first class was Fassbender McAvoy.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. Evan Peters was really good too. Ralph Boner, as you guys know him.
We have a few more topics to talk about. A couple of them probably will be a little shorter, but then we'll go through our Moon Knight episode 2 reaction last. So if that's what you're looking for, if that's all you were going for this episode, that'll be our last segment. Time codes are in the bottom, so feel free to check that out. Next thing, Norman Reedus, though. We've talked about him being Ghost Rider before. This past week, he has tweeted out multiple images of fan images of him as Ghost Rider, further fueling the remark, flaming the rumors. I think he's going to be in Multiverse of Madness.
Do you?
I do. I think he will be.
If you saw the
or you'll see you'll get a hint of him somehow.
Something.
I mean, because we're gonna be in Doctor Strange, the whatever world with Dormammu again, I'm sure at some point. What's that called?
Dark Dimension.
Yeah, we're probably gonna deal with the Dark Dimension.
Right.
Because of the Darkhold and all that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you're gonna mess with the Darkhold without somebody like an Elsa Bloodstone or a Ghost Rider wanting to.
I was thinking Elsa too. Yeah.
So, I mean,
I all I want is just
you.
Maybe it's just the Sanctum Sanctorum. It's just showing the building, right? It's just showing the Sanctum Sanctorum, and I don't know. It can be the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Or if you go in there, you immediately get stabbed.
Yeah. Wong. Don't do it, Strange.
Anyway,
no. So the Sanctum Sanctorum, just sitting there, it's all destroyed or whatever because of the battle or whatever, and all of a sudden you just hear this it's like from the street view, it just shows the Sanctum, and then all of a sudden you just see a motorcycle ride up, and you just see the wheel of the motorcycle, and you just hear the that's all that's it.
Anything
that's
like
all
that.
I need.
Yep.
Because then it'd be Johnny Blaze. It'd be Johnny Blaze as obviously he's not gonna be midday just riding around.
Or how about you show him just from behind and you see some long stringy hair.
Yeah. Yeah, pans up and he's just sitting there on his bike
with a leather jacket. You can tell it's Norman Reedus, but it's not confirmed Norman Reedus.
Yeah, he's got the same vest he's got on from
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So he's got
angel
jeans.
Wings on the back.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, he tweeted out some more images and was liking a bunch of images. So if he's not, he's campaigning pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't know how. He's so perfect for the role too. He loves bikes. He's obviously very loyal to a franchise. Him being on Walking Dead for every season,
and he's talented just in general.
Yeah,
seen him in rom-coms.
Perfect age
seen him on
range
TV
too.
roles.
Yeah, perfect age range too.
And we've talked about in the past, Richard Rider handing it down to Sam Alexander. Last week we talked about somebody else handing it down. Sorry, I'm blanking, but we talked about somebody else doing that.
We got Hawkeye did it. Spider-Man can do it.
Now you could have Johnny Blaze. You could have him hand it down to Robbie Reyes.
Robbie Reyes. Yeah.
It was somebody that could also have been a woman. Oh, Iron Fist.
We
talked about Iron Fist.
Oh yeah, Lin Lee or Colleen Wing.
Yes. So we talked about that. So it could be another hand down for the powers.
Sure.
Ghost Rider is, I think, the easiest one because it's literally somebody else hosting the Ghost Rider.
We've already seen it. Yeah, we've already seen it too. So
I think that'd be perfect. So Norman Reedus, fingers crossed.
Well, back to Norman Reedus. What a nerdgasm that would be.
For Walking Dead fans, just Norman Reedus fans in general. Yeah. And he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, they've gotten Judith from The Walking Dead. They've gotten Denai Guerrera from The Walking Dead. They've gotten a lot of people. Michael Rooker from The Walking Dead. So
Andrew Lincoln was a rumor for Captain Britain, which Andrew Lincoln is not his birth name.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, something like Andrew, Buckwalter or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
But he was rumored. So just take everybody from Walking Dead. Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan could be
I wanted him as like MCU Norman Osborn. I think he could do that.
A lot of people wanted him to be Wolverine, but then they said no, we're going young and short.
Yeah.
It's like not super attractive, older and tall.
Yeah.
He's so
like
charming.
6'2". He's like 6'2", 6'3". He's tall.
Even if he didn't play Negan, he is a charming SOB.
Oh, yeah.
He was on Hot Ones, and I was like, God, we could hang out.
He's just got that like aura about him.
Speaking of which, Josh Brolin's Hot Ones was today.
Yeah.
Season finale for Hot Ones. God, he might be one of the coolest. He is super Jeff Bridges the dude vibe. Like we were talking about it. He is sober from alcohol, but he definitely seems like somebody who partakes in marijuana consumption. He just seems so cool, just so chill. So everything is just like he's comfortable with who he is as a person. So it makes any situation enjoyable for him. And I think that, like, I don't know any other
the fact that, I mean, I'm just a huge Josh Brolin fan just for the fact that he's played two characters that I've loved, Thanos, Cable. Yes. So yeah, I mean, he's devoted to the nerds. You know what I mean? Like he plays superhero. He plays superheroes.
He did that video on Instagram of him crapping because of the Ant-Man rumors going up Thanos' ass, and he did like video like, he just seems so fun. Like, he seems so cool. Just side note. Oh, Jared. Next topic, we have one that's kind of obvious. I don't think we need to talk too much about it, but Daredevil. We've talked about Echo. Wherever it pops up, we have a previous video about a rumor / it's also we have a Marvel Theories playlist. I added it to that video, our Echo video, because they hired an actor for Echo that we believe will be playing the Chief. Whole long video on that if you want to check that out. But apparently Daredevil and Kingpin will both be in the Echo series.
Yeah, this is kind of a no-brainer. I mean, we talked about this. You want to get the hand-to-hand combat or the hand.
Well, that's the thing is in the comics, Echo has the white hand on her face.
Right.
And then she's the one who takes down Elektra.
Yeah. So you're gonna get Daredevil. I mean, Echo. I think we talked about this too, where Echo like kicks Daredevil, or Daredevil kicks Echo's ass like all the time.
Echo loses a lot in the comics. She does eventually, because like her big thing is finding the weakness in their opponents. Yeah. And she struggles with Daredevil because she can't find his weakness.
Yeah.
Then she realizes, I need to take him to a loud place, and she fights him in a really loud area, and he can't hone in on her
senses.
And the comics are described as she like savagely defeats him. Like she does not just a super close fight, but she wins it. Like he doesn't know what to do when he gets destroyed.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Daredevil can also he can hear footsteps, like he can hear heartbeats, and that's how he can signify where people are. So
but she fights him in like a crowded area with traffic, and like she fights him in a place where he can't use his hearing. She also loses to Hulk. She loses to Hawkeye. She loses to a lot of people in the comics. She loses to Namor. Yeah. So it's So this would be good. The way they would go in the Echo show would probably be teaming up with Daredevil against Kingpin, with similar to Hawkeye. They fight at first and then they get along. The last thing before we go into our Moon Knight episode 2 discussion will be Sam Raimi says that anything is possible in regards to Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire.
He said he loves working with Tobey. He loves working with Kirsten Dunst. So he said, he's like, anything's on the table.
Kirsten Dunst has made 4 comments on wanting to return. She said, I don't believe my character's arc is finished. I believe there's so much more I could do. It was one of the most fun jobs I've had. I believe we'd be able to make it really good. Like she's made multiple comments. She wants to come back as Mary Jane. Yeah. I think they could do I mean, if Sony was smart, they do a Spider-Man 4 like that, his last movie, and then they'd build their Sony universe with Andrew. But they're not smart. So have Bryce Dallas Howard come in as Gwen again.
She's brilliant too. She actually directed one of the episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
She did.
She
also did multiple. She did 3 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, she's not only smart, brilliant.
Might have been more than that. We were watching Mandalorian, or I was watching Mandalorian, and my wife came. She goes, "Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard." I was like, Oh,
Yeah, she's talented too.
fantastic. Well, I mean, what do you know? What a surprise. Her dad's Ron Howard, and she's good at movies.
Right.
What a surprise. But yeah, I want a Spider-Man 4. I want the Amazing Spider-Man 3. And I want another trilogy with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
All of it. Spider-Man makes you so much money, and clearly the only thing Sony can do correctly, because they get help from Marvel, so just do all of them.
Yeah, the only thing holding Sony back is Sony.
Yep, they are there, and their product placement in their movies annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Always so much Sony products in their movies.
Yeah.
Always bothers me. Always does. Like, it's blatant. They always do like a slow pan over Sony, and like, I get it when it's your biggest sponsor is Mercedes, so you focus on 3 different cars throughout the movie that have Mercedes logos. That's fine. But Sony, it's always Sony products.
Right.
It's like, this is your movie. We understand that. You don't need to put a Sony remote on screen for 6 seconds. That's fine. But yeah, Sony is destroying Sony. The last topic we have for you is the one a lot of you are probably clicking on this for, which is Moon Knight Episode 2. First thing I want to get out of the way. Just before, I'm not going to start off. I don't like starting off with like negativity, but this episode made me dislike the first one even more. So I gave the first one like a 6 or 7. After the second episode, first episode's like a 4 for me.
Okay.
This second episode could have been episode 1. This episode, because of the information they gave you and everything, made it so maybe 5 to 10 minutes of episode 1 was all you needed.
Sure.
So then you could have, this episode was 52 minutes long. You could have just made this a 1-hour episode and replaced it as episode 1, and it would have basically been the same thing. Sure. This episode was phenomenal. In my opinion, this episode's like an 8 or 9. I don't know about you, but man,
no, I liked it more than the first one for sure.
I loved this episode. It was everything I wanted in an introductory episode.
Yeah,
it was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah. If I could have forgotten episode 1 existed and started here,
I think
if you haven't seen the show yet, you don't need episode 1.
Yeah, I think the episode 1 is they wanted to put you in a confused state and then slowly introduce things as it goes. But yeah, I definitely liked this one a lot. We got a lot more Khonshu. Mm-hmm. We got a lot more Mark Spector.
Communication amongst the different personalities.
All 3 of them. Yeah, and then I like the
an explanation of the suit.
Yeah, it was like the what did he say?
Mr. Knight.
The one in his tomb or something like that. Like, it wasn't the blessed one in his tomb. It's whatever this is. Yeah. He's like, I don't know what this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know this shit. Like,
I look nice though. Like, it had comedy. It was. This episode was so much better than the first one. I think it just, for me, I loved it. I had a lot to like issues with the first one. I had some things I wanted to complain about. This one, I don't think I have a complaint about this episode. I don't know why I don't give it a 10 then, but like, I don't really know if I have any complaints.
Right. I want some more Moon Knight. Like, I want some more. Because we've gotten 4 things so far about him, right? We've got Khonshu, which is not really him, but it's still a part of him. Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, and then Moon Knight, and now Mr. Knight. We got 5 different things. Instead of me doing this, I went like this. But we got
Ethan Hawke was amazing.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke's really good.
Oh my god, that was...
what's his name? Arthur Harrow? Arthur Harrow?
Amit.
No, that's the god.
No, that's him. He just as Mark and Steven act through Khonshu, he acts through Amit.
There was an interesting theory I saw.
Okay, let's hear it.
So it said Amit was betrayed by his first host.
I believe Amit's female.
Amit was betrayed by her first host. So, and that's got everyone thinking. I believe there was a time where Kang was an Egyptian like ruler, and so a lot of people are thinking that Jonathan Majors could have been a former host for Amit. Yeah,
Avatar.
That betrayed him, because Kang is obviously probably more powerful, I guess.
Sure.
So yeah, that was just a weird rumor that I saw.
That'd be interesting. I mean, that sounds like a fan. Marvel. I've mentioned this before. That sounds like a Marvel fan theory that would never happen, but it is a good one.
Yeah.
Like if they went that direction, cool. But if they don't, I get it. Yeah, more Moon Knight is what pushes this from an 8 or 9 to a 10. Yeah,
I loved the. I thought like I don't usually like slow mo for some reason, or like certain slow mos.
I get that. It tends to lean more cheesy than
the added effect. There was like 2 different slow mos in this episode. And I thought they were both done well. So yeah, I had no problem with that. And I loved how he like spiked the jackal into the thing.
Yeah,
that was sweet. And then the whole fight scene or whatever was really cool too. So I mean, I wanted more Moon Knight. Like he apparently can pull like an unlimited amount of like those crescent things out of his chest.
Yeah. I can't remember the name, what they're called, not batarangs, but something along the same line. But and then he had the extendable pole. Yeah. As Mr. Knight, which Moon Knight didn't use at all.
Yeah.
So that's something that we know.
You got Moon Knight's staff with the little crescent on the top that he has too. Like Moon Knight has that.
Right, and you didn't get to see him use the 2 batons, which would have been sick. It was fun to see because it looked like Steven got some confidence from Moon Knight. He got the strength. It makes me wonder. So like Mark is leaning away, not sure if he wants to trust Khonshu. They're building distrust amongst Khonshu with the viewers, but it's also distrusting Ethan Hawke and Amit.
Yeah.
But Stephen Grant, it's like, well, he is such a passive guy that finally gets this confidence. Like maybe he decides, I want to be the Avatar.
Right. Like Khonshu trusted him to give him a suit.
And Khonshu said, the person that is the next person I'm eyeing is somebody that's close to you. And obviously he's talking about his wife, but he could also be saying like, yes, he even specified like, and I don't think you want me to do that to her, but like he could easily be like, there's somebody very close to you that I'm also eyeing that's like Steven. Like he wants to
Jake. Maybe he knows Jake too, and they don't know Jake.
Yeah. So I think it could be something along those lines. They're definitely doing a very good job of trying to tell you who you don't trust. If he wasn't the main character, it would be a lot less obvious.
Yeah.
But it's also like, the storage locker scene was awesome with Khonshu.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like he's like right here.
And then when he like runs around and then he goes and then Khonshu's facing away knowing
and
he's behind him.
Yeah, you see the beak and it's like been hurt, like not like been hurt, but it's been damaged. He's been in some fights, so like Khonshu himself. But.
I already saw today people talking about, is Khonshu the strongest villain in the MCU? And I said absolutely not.
No, he's not really a villain yet.
In my opinion, Aramesh or whatever is probably
Arishem, sorry.
Oh, Arishem.
Fit strongest performance, or like
they meant like out of the ones we've seen.
Arishem's a celestial. Arishem could destroy
I was gonna say
Earth
it's Arishem or Ego would be my choices.
Well, Ego's dead, so
well that's
Arishem.
The thing. Yeah. Like Arishem or Ego. And because people are like, well, it's obviously
Arishem kills Ego.
Like it's obviously Thanos. And it's like, no, without the Infinity Stones, Thanos is not it.
Yeah, Arishem beats Ego.
And then I was like, if you want to count What If, Infinity Ultron, probably Sorcerer Supreme.
If Ultron took over Earth, Ultron could probably kill Thanos.
Well, he does.
There's a possibility. Yeah.
So I don't think Khonshu's there because they were talking about how he doesn't have a physical form. I was like, yeah, but a Celestial will be able to handle anything that doesn't have a physical form.
Yeah.
So and we don't know how to kill a Celestial. The only Celestial that's been killed has been by like a half Celestial, which was Star-Lord.
Or Null, which we haven't met yet. So.
Right. So we don't know what else could kill a Celestial. So, because some people said Hela, and they're like, no.
The Eternals, Cersei can. Cersei can with the hive,
She had to be amplified.
Yeah, by 4 or 5.
Just like Thanos needed the amplification of stone, so it's the Celestial. So I don't think Khonshu is that level of power.
Someone created Khonshu, you know what I mean? So like probably the Celestials, like, so I don't.
I hope they get more. If there's one thing I'm looking forward to in the next few episodes, more Egyptian knowledge. I am a
yeah. Well, they're in Egypt now, so I don't. They're in Egypt at the end of it. So yeah, the one thing I wanted to say is I really like the fact that you've got your one character and he's got all of his reflections. So like Stephen Grant in the storage locker, like he's got his reflection on the wall, like he's looking at it. But then like Mark is talking to him behind him. And so like technically how it should have looked is that there should have been a reflection on like the wall to the left and the wall to the right and the wall behind him, but there's no reflection. It's just the reflection that he's talking to. And it's looking different ways. It's got different facial features. So you know that he's talking to Mark or Mark is talking to Steven in just the way they're doing things.
And just like only he can see the jackal, only he can see that reflection.
And then at the end when they're in Egypt, like Mark is like on the floor drinking or whatever, and then Steven's in the mirror and he wakes up and he's like, where are we? And then Mark gets up and like rips open the curtains or whatever.
The second episode was so good. We got to see a little bit more of Amit's powers. We got to see how the original jackal was summoned, because we didn't see that in the first one. We got to see that it was summoned by Ethan Hawke. We got to see a little bit more of what his cult is about and why it is the way it is, and the general message of what's his goal, including child murder.
You can't go wrong with child murder.
That's where I draw the line. I think
they're innocent when you're judging them. That doesn't
like he goes from the idea of you can probably train them to not do those evils, as opposed to thinking it's a predetermined they're going to do the evil no matter what you do with them. It's cool because you get a good idea of the cult mind as well. Like they've been convinced of one thing and won't change their mind.
Right.
It was so good. If you haven't seen this one yet, you could watch the second one without the first one and it would be fine. The first one's not bad. After watching the second one, it made me like the first one even less.
Right.
Just because this one,
I mean, you should like it more as you go on. So
it's just, I shouldn't feel like this one would be a better intro. And it was. Like if I were to ask my wife, like to say like, we should watch this together, because she doesn't really watch the Marvel stuff, I would say, you could start at episode 2. You don't have to watch episode 1. It wouldn't. You wouldn't miss out on any.
Yeah, as long as you gave her a little bit of a backstory, like a small amount of the backstory, because like we know that, right? So like we know that information. But if anybody watching this show would be like, what the hell is going on? Like,
right, but like you didn't need him missing that date. You didn't need him. Like obviously, it adds to the character. It builds it. It's those little things help build connection and attachment with the viewer, and those little things. But in terms of just watching it for enjoyment, you don't necessarily need it. You don't need him missing the day. You don't need him talking to the statue, the gold guy, who definitely thinks he's insane. Like there's just a few things you don't really necessarily need in the first one. You could definitely 5 to 10 minutes of that first episode is all you really needed. I want to see more of Amit. And I want to see more of the Egyptian.
I'd love to see a Khonshu versus Amit fight.
Well, I think we'll get there. I'm gonna guess Ethan Hawke and them they're gonna be successful and find Amit's tomb. I'm gonna guess they're gonna resurrect Amit, and it's gonna be up to Khonshu to do something about it. Because the villain can't be just defeated without any sort of success. And I'm gonna assume the success from this time isn't getting the beetle; it's actually resurrecting Amit.
Right. It's like an alligator, right? Like an alligator thing.
Alligator lady.
Yeah.
Hindquarters of a hippo, forequarters of a lion, head of a crocodile. She is considered a demoness or goddess, both. Which kind of gives it away. The fact that she's a demoness. Probably not a good person. Or good. But, I mean, don't necessarily want to say that because Anubis is portrayed as negative when Anubis is not evil. Right. But I'm all for just I nerd out about history, so I want more Egyptian stuff, and I want more Egyptian interaction. I don't want Amit and Khonshu to be the only gods we interact with.
Right. There's 5 other ones.
Yeah. So there's a lot of potential, and I hope Ethan Hawke is not defeated easily.
I hope we see, now that we're in Egypt, a little backstory on what Mark was, because Mark almost died in Egypt. So hope we get
more backstory on what got Mark to Khonshu would be nice.
Yeah.
because we got a hint like he was near death and on his last rope, and now he's paying back a debt.
Yeah.
With Khonshu.
So
almost like a deal with the devil sort of situation. It seems like.
Yeah, I also hope like I do want the thing where he like smashes Khonshu's head. I think that'd be sweet by the end of it. So like, what if you do all this stuff and say they defeat Amit in episode 5 or something, and then they have episode 6, and it's Khonshu being like, all right, here's what we're doing next, and Mark's like, no, like we're done, like
you're done when we're when I say we're done.
Yeah, and he's like, I am Stephen Grant, I am Mark Spector, I am Moon Knight, and I don't need you. Like that.
If you say we're done, I'll go talk to Layla. No, you won't.
Yeah. Smash his head.
Something like that would be sick.
Yeah.
But this episode was amazing, and 8 or 9 out of 10. The only thing that would make it better would be more Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I like the addition of comedy. I wouldn't mind. We mentioned it after the first episode. Wouldn't mind if it got a little bit more brutal.
Yeah.
We had a lot of potential brutality that was left out in that second episode with all those people in the cult.
Yeah.
Some of those people could have been a lot more physical with him.
It showed Mark Spector shoot 4 people in the head, or supposedly shoot 4 people in the head after he got saved by Khonshu or whatever. So like it definitely can get brutal, especially if we get some backstory on this. He's a mercenary killer, so
let's see what happens. And then hopefully Jake is brought in.
Yeah, Jake.
We've mentioned it. Jake as the post-credit scene of episode 6.
And
would
then
be totally...
Mahershala Ali's Blade gets in the car or something, or either Blade or Bruce Banner or Frank Castle.
Right, and then the viewers haven't been introduced to Jake yet, but then he says to Mahershala Ali or whoever gets in, "How you doing, man? I'm good. I'd like to go here." Great. Well, nice to meet you. I'm Jake.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm Jake, however you want to say it.
Something that's not going to be British, it's not going to be American. It's like, hey man, I'm Jake, or something like that. Like something different. Oscar Isaac can do it. And it's like, I don't know. It could be Bruce Banner. It could be Wong. It could
probably gonna be
Wong. It could be Mahershala Ali's Blade, and the curveball would be John Bernthal's Punisher. I think that'd be one that no one could expect. No one would expect.
Well, if you want something nobody would expect, you gotta do like Miss Marvel. You gotta do America Chavez.
Why is there a 15-year-old just in the middle of Egypt? What is going on? No. I know what it's gonna be, dude. I know it's gonna be Adrian Toomes' Vulture. He just kind of went through a portal and now he's there.
And he's not even gonna get in. They're gonna be in the middle of the road, and all of a sudden he's just gonna appear in the back of the car.
Yeah, and Jake Lockley's gonna get out of his car and stand, and it's gonna be really windy for some reason.
Yeah, and then Vulture's gonna be like, I hope the food's better here.
And then a Mercedes is gonna go by really slowly.
Right, and then it's gonna be a Matthew McConaughey Lincoln commercial. Yeah. That's all we got this week. Thank you all for listening. See you next week. You all look phenomenal today. Not quite as good as us, but you still look good. GG.
GG.
Oh.